Hey, my name is Jason Schwartz. Today we're going to be coaching Megan through front squat and deadlift. So we're going to start with the front squat. What she's going to do is we're going to start with the dowel and then we're going to move to a barbell. She's going to take the dowel, she's going to place it right below the clavicle, resting on pec major with her elbows pointed forward and her triceps parallel to the floor. She's going to maintain a neutral spine throughout the cervical all the way down to the lumbar spine. Then she's going to go down into a squat. She's going to try to keep her knees not going past her toes, and she's going to try to keep her feet level on the floor. So Megan, why don't you start by getting into a front rack position, so you're going to bring the dowel right on top of the clavicle. Perfect. Why don't you turn and face that way for me? Perfect. What you're going to do, you're going to bring your elbows up, and you're going to try to keep your triceps parallel to the floor, and I want you to give me 5 repetitions. Good. So that was pretty good. Way we can make it a little bit better is I want you to try to keep your elbows up in the air and try to keep those triceps parallel to the floor throughout the entire movement. Elbows were dropping a little bit as you were coming down. So why don't you give me another 5 reps and try again. Try to keep those elbows up. So there's some things that we could do to make this a little bit better is we can foam roll the lats and stretch out her triceps to try to get more mobility throughout here over time. Another thing is we're getting a little bit of butt wink from the hips, so something that we could do is elevate her heels by putting a plate underneath the heels, give her a little bit more ankle range of motion, or a little bit less ankle range of motion, and that way there's not as much stretch on the pelvis. So progression from the front squat from using the dowel after we master the technique, then we can move into doing front squats with a barbell and loading the exercise. This is the reason why front squats are a really good strength movement is we're going to get a lot of core activation because it's an anteriorly loaded exercise. We're going to be primarily using the quads and the glutes, which is really good for developing any athlete's lower body strength. So Megan, why don't you give me 5 repetitions of a front squat. Make sure you keep your elbows nice and high and your core nice and tight. Pretty good. Fine. Great job. Thank you. And normally we'd have a rack to re-rack the weights, but you can just bring the weights down to your hips. So the next exercise we're going to be doing is a deadlift. Deadlifts are really good for developing the posterior chain and triple extension, which triple extension is a movement utilized a lot in many different sports, which is why it makes for an excellent strength training movement. It's also a really good progression into power exercises like the Olympic lifts or vertical jumps or broad jumps. Those are just a few examples of movements that utilize triple extension. So what we're going to be doing, Megan is going to be demonstrating first with a dowel. So what she's going to do is she's going to lower down into the starting position with the bar at the middle of her shin. She's going to maintain a neutral spine, and she's going to keep her shoulder blades nice and tight, keeping an isometric contraction in her lats. She's going to simultaneously push through the heels and push the hips forward, coming to a nice upright position, and then coming back down into her started position. Again, we want the hamstrings and shoulders parallel to the floor, coming straight up. So Megan, why don't you give me 5 repetitions of a deadlift? Can you face this way for me? This way? Perfect. Two more. Okay, so that was pretty good, but some corrections that we could make is we want that spine to be neutral and her head was tilted up a little bit. Also, the dowel was further away from her body than it should have been. We want the dowel as close as we can to body so that there's as little torque as possible on the lower back. Additionally, we want to simultaneously extend at the knees and hips rather than separating the movement. So what I want you to try to do for the next set is when you're coming up from here, instead of starting with an extension at the knees and then extending at the hips, what you're going to do is you're going to simultaneously extend both the knee and hip joints and come into a nice upright position. Additionally, I want a nice neutral spine, so tuck your chin just a little bit and means so you're not looking at the mirror in front of you. Okay, so why don't you give me 5 more repetitions? Good. Tuck the chin just a little bit more. And keep your toes on the ground. Come to about the mid shin. That's a lot better. Perfect. Great progression of the deadlift from using the dowel. Again, we want to just get the form down first, and once we get form down, then we can load the exercise properly. So what we're going to do is now we have a barbell, and we're going to use bumper plates to get proper elevation off the floor, so we're not hyperflexing and coming too far down. So what she's going to be doing, major difference with the loaded exercise is I want you to squeeze those shoulder blades and engage the lats a little bit more because the weight's going to be heavier than with the dowel. So when you're at the bottom in your starting position, pull the slack out of the bar by engaging those lats. Keep everything nice and tight, nice neutral spine. And now let's do 5 repetitions of the front of the deadlift. Make sure you keep the bar close to your shins. Shoulder blades nice and tight. Keep that head down. Perfect. So other exercises that we could include if a client or an athlete isn't ready for a deadlift because of either mobility issues or they're just not understanding the exercise. Another good way to engage the posterior chain would be barbell hip thrusts off of the bench, where you're essentially doing a bridge with your shoulder blades resting on the bench and you push through. That way we can at least strengthen the glutes, that when we are ready to deadlift, then we have some lower body and glute development.